Today is not a day to celebrate, but the arrest of Richard M. Allen of Delphi on 2 counts of murder is sure a major step in leading to the conclusion of this long-term and complex investigation. Of this long-term and complex investigation. Of this long-term and complex investigation. Of this long-term and complex investigation.
Hey guys, what is good? Quick little live. Definitely needs to be talked about, as it is breaking news that, as predicted, this would be coming to us, which is the probable cause affidavit for Richard Allen. Again, it's 8 pages. They completely redacted page 8. Page 1 through 7, they redacted pretty much everybody's name except for Richard Allen's. So right before we get into it here, which is going to happen right now, I want to say hello to all the members, the mods, all the new subscribers. I hope you guys are having a, what is it, today's Tuesday, right? I hope you guys are having a great Tuesday. So here we go. Again, page 8, completely redacted. I can put up on the screen here if you want to follow along. Let's see. It's just really, I printed it all off. It's just really choppy. What page is that? Page 7, page 1. Okay, there we go. Okay. Again, hello to everybody. Probable cause affidavit. Just the beginning portion of that is just, this is the undersigned and who is deeming to get this signed. So here are the statements and the witness statements to complete this probable cause. So that on February 14th, 2017, victim 1 and victim 2. Victim 2 is Libby. Victim 1 is Abby. They were found deceased in the woods, approximately 0.2 miles northeast of the bridge. Now, that is something that I want to first state. The 0.7, that's actually the distance from the Monon High Bridge to the Freedom Bridge. So the 0.2 from the bridge, that is actually the only distance, from that bridge to where the crime scene was. So their bodies were located on the north side of the Deer Creek. At the time, the Monon High Bridge Trail was approximately 1 mile gravel travel, and then it was terminating at the Monon High Bridge. The Monon High Bridge is an abandoned railroad trestle approximately 0.25 miles long, spanning the Deer Creek and Deer Creek Valley on the southeast end of the trail. Approximately 0.7 miles northwest on the trail from the northwestern edge of the Mount High Bridge is the Freedom Bridge, which is a pedestrian bridge spanning State Route 25. Approximately 350 feet west of Freedom Bridge was a former railroad overpass over Old State Road 25, which is also known, for everybody that's been following this case, is County Road 300 North. So a lot of people actually live off that County Road 300 North. The trail terminates just west of the former railroad overpass. The majority of the trail is in a wooded area with a steep embankment on the south side of the trail. So hold on one second. I'm going to do my best to, because these are all on different pages. Which one's that? One's page 7. And this is 2. Okay. The entirety of the trail and the location of the girls' bodies were and are located in Carroll County, Indiana. A massive thumbs up, Lana. Thank you. You're very welcome. Thumbs up back to you guys. Appreciate that. Through interviews, reviews of electronic records, and review of video at the Hoosier Harvest Store. Now, that's going to be a big deal with this affidavit because they're getting video from the Hoosier Harvest Store. Investigators believe victim 1 and victim 2, so victim 1 is Abby, victim 2 is Libby, believe that they were dropped off across from the Mears farm at 1:49 p.m. on February 13th, 2017 by redacted. They want to redact that. By all accounts, we believe that that first redaction is, her sister, but, maybe it's not. So the Mears farm is located on the north side of County Road 300 North, near an entrance to the trails. So the girls are dropped off at 1:49 p.m. That is in paperwork, and they're getting that from digital evidence and what I believe is the video at the Hoosier Harvest Store. So this is not coming from a phone. This is coming from the Hoosier Harvest Store after reviewing their electronic records. Again, the Mears farm is located on the north side of County Road 300 North, near an entrance to the trails. A video from victim 2's phone, that's how I determined that victim 2 is Libby, because she's the one with the phone, shows that at 2:13 p.m., victim 1 and victim 2 encountered a male subject. So within 24 minutes, encountered a male subject on the southeast portion of the bridge. The male ordered the girls, guys, down the hill. No witnesses saw them after this time, so 2:13 p.m. No outgoing communications were found on victim 2's, Libby's, phone after this time. Their bodies were discovered on February 14th, 2017. The video recovered from victim 2's, Libby's, phone shows victim 1, Abby, walking southeast on the Mount High Bridge, while a male subject wearing a dark jacket and jeans walks behind her. As the male subject approaches Libby, victim 1, and Abby, victim 2, Abby, victim 1, and Libby, victim 2, one of the victims mentions gun. Near the end of the video, a male is seen and heard telling the girls, guys, down the hill. The girls then begin to proceed down the hill, and the video ends. So the first big, I think, bombshell of this is one of the victims mentions gun, that they see like a gun. That's what investigators are interpreting and putting it in the probable cause. Again, the girls then proceed to go down the hill, and the video ends. A still photograph taken from the video and the guys down the hill audio was released to the public to assist investigators in identifying the male. Victim 1 and Victim 2's deaths were ruled as homicides. Clothes were found in the Deer Creek, in the water. It says in the Deer Creek, belonging to Victim 1 and Victim 2. It was found in the water south of where their bodies were located. There was also a .40 caliber unspent round less than 2 feet away from Victim's 2 body. That would be Libby's body. And it was located also between Victim 1, Abby, and Victim 2's bodies. So between their bodies, that's where it was a unspent .40 caliber unspent round. The round, again, unspent, and had extraction marks on it. This is what is going to lead to the arrest of Richard Allen. But let's see how we get there. Interviews were conducted with 3 juveniles. Now, something that I think is interesting on this is it says 3 juveniles. And if I zoom in, you're just going to see blank and blank. I've just never seen that before. Like, if you're going to say 3, you would expect blank, blank, and blank. But, we'll go with Indiana math here. They advised these 3 juveniles. They advised that they were on the Monon High Bridge Trail on February 13th, 2017. They advised they were walking on the trail toward Freedom Bridge to go home when they encountered a male walking from Freedom Bridge toward the Monon High Bridge. Blank, so one of those juveniles, Blank, described the male as, quote-unquote, kind of creepy, and advised he was wearing, like, blue jeans, like a really light blue jacket, and his hair was, like, gray, maybe a little brown, and he did not really show his face. She advised the jacket was a duck canvas type jacket. And now, again, it's redacted here. Blank advised she said hi to the male, but he just glared at them. She recalled him being in all black, so this would be like one of the other out of the 3. She recalled him being in all black and had something covering his mouth. She described him as not very tall, with a bigger build. She said he was not bigger than like 5'10". Then again, Blank, so this would be the 3rd person. So there's the 3 juveniles. Blank advised he was wearing a black hoodie, black jeans, and black boots. She stated he had his hands in his pockets. And then this name's redacted, showed investigators photographs she had taken from her phone while she was on the trail that day. The photographs... let me go to this next page for you guys. Like I said, reading this from... and not printing it, good luck. It's just shit, guys. So I printed it off like I do everything. But this is going to be page 3, and that's where we're at. Photographs included a photo of the Monon High Bridge taken at 12:43 p.m. Okay? So these 3 females one of the photographs, the metadata behind it, 12:43 p.m. And another one taken at 1:26 p.m. And that was of the bench east of the Freedom Bridge. So, the Mona High Bridge, 12:43, and then at 1:26, it was a bench from the Freedom Bridge. So, again, two totally different locations. One of the three juveniles, as that's redacted, advised after she took the photo of the bench, they started walking back toward Freedom Bridge. Which is kind of confusing there, but she advised that was when they encountered the man who matched the description of the photograph taken from victim two's video. So that would be like around the 1:26 time frame, or just like thereafter, as you're going to see. She advised that the jacket, she described the man she encountered on the trail as wearing a blue or black windbreaker jacket. She advised the jacket had a collar and he had his hood up from the clothing underneath his jacket. She advised he was wearing baggy jeans and was taller than her. She advised her head came up to approximately his shoulders. She said hi to the man and that he said nothing back. She stated he was walking with a purpose, like he knew where he was going. She stated he had his hands in his pockets and kept his head down. She advised she did not get a good look at his face, but believed him to be a white male. The girls advised after encountering the male, they continued their walk across Freedom Bridge and the old railroad bridge over Old State Road 25. Investigators spoke with blank, who advised she was on the trails on February 13th. So I believe that this is a new person. So I'm doing it as like W4. So the first three people I did W1, W2, W3. So like witness 1, witness 2, witness 3. And now this second paragraph here is investigator spoke with, I'm saying W4, who advised she was on the trails on February 13th. Video from the Hoosier Harvest Store captured blank vehicle traveling eastbound at 1:46 p.m. toward the entrance across from the mayor's farm. Blank advised she saw 4 juvenile females walking on the bridge over Old State Road 25 as she was driving underneath on her way to park. Blank advised there was no other cars parked across from the mayor's farm when she had parked. There was no other cars there. She advised she walked to the Mona High Bridge and observed a male matching the one from victim 2's video. She described the male she saw as a white male, wearing blue jeans and a blue jacket. She advised he was standing on the first platform of the Mona High Bridge, approximately about 50 feet from her. She advised she turned around at the bridge and then continued her walk. So instead of crossing the bridge, this person just walks basically to the bridge and then turns around and continues on her walk. She advised approximately halfway between the bridge and the parking area across from Mears Farm, she passed 2 girls walking toward the Mona High Bridge. She advised she believed the girls were Abby and Libby, victim 1 and victim 2. Video from the Hoosier Harvest Store shows at 1:49 p.m. a white car matching vehicle traveling away from the entrance across from the Mears Farm. That would be the car that they believe dropped off, Abby and Libby at that 1:49 time. Blank advised she finished her walk. This would be the W4, my witness 4, advised she finished her walk and saw no other adults other than that male on the bridge. Her vehicle is seen on the Hoosier Harvest video at 2:14 p.m. Leaving westbound from the trails. Blank advised when she was leaving, she noted a vehicle was parked in an odd manner at the old Child Protective Service building. She said it was not odd for vehicles to be parked there, but she noticed it was odd because of the manner it was parked. It was like backed in near the building. Investigators received a tip from Blank. So this would be like witness 5 now. In which so this tipper is a guy, in which he stated he was on his way to Delphi on State Road 25 around 2:10 p.m. on February 13th, and that he observed a purple PT Cruiser, or like a small SUV type vehicle, parked on the south side of the old CPS building. He stated it appeared as though it was backed in as to conceal the license plate of the vehicle. Witnesses both drew diagrams of where they saw the vehicle parked, and their diagrams generally matched as to the area the vehicle was parked and the manner in which it was parked. Blank advised he remembered seeing a smaller, dark, colored car parked at the old CPS building. He described it as possibly being a smart car. Again, Blank vehicle is seen leaving at 2:28 p.m. on the Hoosier Harvester video. Don't know. I believe that's the tip person, so I'm not sure though, so I'm not speaking on that. As far as who was seen at 2:28. Investigators spoke with Blank. So this is another person who stated that she was traveling east on 300 North on February 13th, 2022, and observed a male subject walking west. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down this whole affidavit in terms of taking a map and like pointing things out so that you guys can see it in like a visual manner. So I couldn't do that in the amount of time that I wanted to read this off to everybody, but that will be coming just to make it as clear as possible. So again, back to where I was. Investigators spoke with Blank, who stated that she was traveling east on 300 North on February 13th and observed a male subject walking west on the north side of 300 North, away from the Monon High Bridge. Blank advised that the male subject was wearing a blue-colored jacket and blue jeans and was muddy and bloody. Muddy and bloody. She further stated that it appeared he had gotten into a fight. Investigators were able to determine from watching the video from the Hoosier Harvest store that Blank was traveling on CR 300 North at approximately 3:57 p.m. So they're basically saying that Richard Allen, is seen walking muddy and bloody at 3:57 p.m. or the subject. Through interviews, electronic data, photographs, and video from the Hoosier Harvest store, investigators determined that there were other people on the trail that day after 2:13 p.m. Those people were interviewed, and none of those individuals encountered the male subject referenced above, witnessed by the juvenile girls, blank and blank and blank. Further, none of those individuals witnessed victim 1 and victim 2. Investigators reviewing prior tips encountered a tip narrative from an officer who interviewed Richard M. Allen in 2017. The narrative is stated as follows. Let's see, I'm going to change this so you guys can have it. Oh boy. This is so in order. There you go. Okay, here we go. Mr. Allen was on the trail between 13:30 and 15:30 hours. He parked at the old Farm Bureau building and walked the new Freedom Bridge. While at the Freedom Bridge, he saw 3 females. He noted one was taller and had brown or black hair. He did not remember description, nor did he speak with them. He walked from the Freedom Bridge to the High Bridge. He did not see anybody, although he stated he was watching a stock ticker on his phone as he walked. He stated there were vehicles parked at the High Bridge trailhead. However, he did not pay attention to them. He did not take any photos or video. His cell phone did not list an IMEI, but did have the following: potential follow-up information. Who were the 3 girls walking in the area of Freedom Bridge? ? So that's the narrative that's when they interviewed him. That's what that was. Okay? Now, investigators believe Mr. Allen was referring to the former CPS service building, Child Service Building, Protective Service Building, and was not a Farm Bureau building in that area, nor had there ever been one. Investigators believe the female he saw included blank and blank due to the time they were leaving the trail. The time he reported getting to the trail and the descriptions the 3 females gave, investigators discovered Richard Allen owned 2 vehicles in 2017. And I've mentioned this already before, that he owned he owned a Ford Focus. You can go and catch that in my earlier videos. So I think this is, just give a little check for Lana there. Check. He did own a Ford Focus, and he did own a 2006 grade Ford 500. Investigators observed a vehicle that resembled Allen's 2016 Ford Focus on the Hoosier Harvester video at 1:27 p.m., traveling westbound on the CR 300 North in front of the Hoosier Harvester, which coincided with his statement that he arrived around 1:30. So his vehicle is seen allegedly at 1:27 p.m., traveling westbound. Investigators note witnesses described the vehicle parked at the former CPS building as a PT Cruiser, a small SUV, or a smart car. Investigators believe that those descriptions are similar in nature to a 2016 Ford Focus. So we're going to go ahead and check that off as, that's close enough. Ford Focus, PT Cruiser, check. On October 13th, 2022, Richard Allen was interviewed again by investigators. So there was none of this, like I said, the neighbors and he stole tools and stuff like that. No. Legit, on October 13th, Richard Allen was just re-interviewed again by investigators. He advised he was on the trails on February 13th, 2017. He stated he saw juvenile girls on the trails east of Freedom Bridge, and that he went on to the Monon High Bridge. Richard Allen further stated that he went out onto the Monon High Bridge to watch the fish. One second, I'm going to go to page 5. If I can find it. Again, Richard Allen further stated that he went out onto the Monon High Bridge to watch the fish. Later in his statement, he said he walked out to the first platform on the bridge. He stated he then walked back, sat on a bench on the trail, and then left. Well, where is that bench that he would have sat on? I'm just curious. Okay. He stated he parked his car on the side of an old building. He told investigators that he was wearing blue jeans and a blue or black Carhartt jacket with a hood. He advised he may have been wearing some type of head covering as well. He further claimed he saw no one else except for the juvenile girls he saw east of the Freedom Bridge. He told investigators that he owns firearms and that they are at his home. Richard M. Allen's wife, Kathy Allen, also spoke to investigators. So that's new. She confirmed that Richard did have guns and knives at the residence. She also stated that Richard still owns a blue Carhartt jacket. On October 13th, 2022, investigators executed a search warrant of Richard Allen's residence at 1967 North Whiteman Drive, Delphi, Carroll County, Indiana. Among other items, officers located jackets, boots, knives, and firearms, including a Sig Sauer Model P226 40 caliber pistol with serial number U625627. Again, hello to everybody that's tuning in for the breaking news on the release of the probable cause. Thank you for being here. Between October 14th, 2022, and October 19th, 2022, the Indiana State Police Laboratory. Now, I do want to, this is actually very interesting to me because this is kind of what they did to Sheldon Jeter Jr. And so I'm going to have my opinions on this part of it when we're done. Between October 14th and October 19th, 2022, the Indiana State Police Lab performed an analysis on Allen's gun. The laboratory performed a physical examination and classification of the firearm, a function test, barrel, and overall length measurement, test firing, ammunition component characterization, microscopic comparison, and an NIBIN. The lab determined that the unspent round located within 2 feet of Libby's body had been cycled through Richard M. Allen's gun. This was what the little excerpt said. Hold on one second. Let me move this to page. There we go. There you go. Okay. An identification opinion. It's the first words that I just saw right there. Opinion. So here we go. Is reached when the evidence exhibits an agreement of class characteristics and a sufficient agreement of individual marks. Sufficient agreement is related to the significant duplication of random, the impressions, basically, the marks that would come out of the barrel. So it is their opinion that there is significant agreement as evidenced by the correspondence of a pattern or combination of patterns of surface contours. The interpretation of identification is subjective in nature and based on relevant scientific research. Now you should ask Corey Woods what he thinks about all this, because this is interesting. And the reporting examiner's training and experience. So there's a multiple it's just multiple factors in determining your opinion. And this would be an expert witness getting on the stand and saying this is their expert opinion, and that this unspent casing is from Richard Allen's gun. And then you're going to have the defense that has an expert that says it's not. That's basically what's going to happen. Moving on, investigators then ran the firearm and found that the firearm was in fact purchased by Richard Allen in 2001. So, yep, he says he has this gun. It belongs to him. They run it. Yep, it's his. Richard Allen voluntarily came to the Indiana State Police post on October 26th, 2022. He voluntarily came. Okay. He spoke with investigators and stated that he never allowed anyone to use or borrow his firearms, let alone that make and model. When asked about the unspent bullet, he did not have an explanation of why the bullet was found between the bodies of victim 1 and victim 2. And I picture Sheldon Jeter right in that situation where he's like, I don't know why. Like, I mean, I told you I was over there, yeah, but, you know, Richard Allen, you know, put himself at the crime scene, basically. And now 5.5 years later, this is where we're at. He again admitted that he was on the trail, but denied knowing victim 1 or victim 2, and denied any involvement in their murders. Carroll County Sheriff's Department detective, and we have to redact this name. We are going to redact this detective's name, which I think is just wow. Has been part of the investigation since it started in 2017. He has had an opportunity to review and examine evidence gathered in this investigation. Detective Blank now, along with the other investigators, believe the evidence gathered shows that Richard Allen is the male subject seen on the video from victim 2's phone, which would be Libby's phone, who forced the victims down the hill. Further, that the victims were forced down the hill by Richard Allen and led to the location where they were murdered. It doesn't say that he committed the murders, okay? Led, this is very, very important. Further, that the victims were forced down the hill by Richard Allen and led to the location where they were murdered. Now, why aren't they just saying that he murdered them, you know? What else is there? Through the statements and photographs of the juvenile females and the statement of Blank, can't wait to find out who that Blank is, and we're at the southeast edge of the trail at 12:43 p.m. east of Freedom Bridge and 1:26 p.m. and walked across the former rail. Based on these timestamps, basically, they walked the entirety of the trail and observed only one person, an adult male. And Blank vehicle is seen on Hoosier Harvestor video at 1:46 p.m. and leaving at 2:14 p.m. And she stated that she only saw one adult male. And then Blank and Blank described the male in similar manners, wearing similar clothing, leading investigators to believe all four saw the same male individual. Investigators believe the male observed by Blank and Blank is the same male depicted in the video from victim's 2's phone, due to the descriptions of the male by the four females matching the male in the video. Furthermore, victim 2's video was taken at 2:13 p.m. on 2/13. Isn't that weird? 2:13 p.m. on 2/13. Whew. And Blank saw only one male while she was on the trail from approximately 1:46 p.m. to 2:14 p.m. Closing it out here with page 7. There's actually 8 pages, but they completely redacted page 8. Okay? So closing our availability out with this last page I will read for you guys is page 7. That's what we have. This lovely order. Okay, here we go. Okay. Investigators believe Richard Allen was the male seen by Blank and Blank and the male seen in victim 2's video. Richard Allen told investigators he was on the trail from 1:30 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. that day. Video from Hoosier Harvestor shows a vehicle that matches the description of Allen's vehicle passing at 1:27 p.m. toward the former CPS building. The clothing he told investigators he was wearing match the clothing of the male in victim 2's video and the clothing descriptions provided by Blank and Blank. A vehicle matching the description of his 2 2016 Ford Focus is seen at or around 2:10 p.m., 2:14 p.m., and 2:28 p.m. at the former CPS building. Through his own admissions, Richard Allen walked the trails and eventually hiked to the Monon High Bridge and walked out onto the Monon High Bridge. A male subject matching Richard Allen's description was not seen on the trail after 2:13 p.m. Investigators identified other individuals on the trails or CR 300 North between 2:30 p.m. and 4:11 p.m. None of those individuals saw a male subject matching the description of Richard Allen on the trail. Furthermore, Richard Allen stated that he only saw 3 girls on the trail, who investigators believe to be, and then it's redacted. And I think that's gonna, I think it says victims, but that's just my opinion. But there wasn't 3, so we'll get to that. Investigators believe Richard Allen was not seen on the trail after 2:13 p.m. because he was in the woods with victim 1 and victim 2. An unspent .40 caliber round between the bodies of victim 1 and victim 2 was forensically determined to have been cycled. Forensically determined. That's a great word. To have been cycled through Richard Allen's Model P226. And this was found at Richard Allen's residence, and he admitted to owning it. Investigators were able to determine that he had owned it since 2001. Richard Allen stated that he had not been on that property where the unspent round was found, that he did not even know the property owner, and that he had no explanation as to why a round cycled through his firearm would be at that location. Furthermore, he stated that he never allowed anyone to use or borrow that specific model. Investigators believe that after the victims were murdered, Richard Allen returned to his vehicle by walking down CR 300 North. Investigators believe he was seen by blank walking back to his vehicle on CR 300 North with clothes that were muddy and bloody. Blank and possibly blank, along with the investigators, believe the statements made by the witnesses, because the statements corroborate the timeline of the death of the 2 victims, as well as they coincide with the admissions made by Richard Allen. Further, the accounts relayed by blank and blank blank are similar in nature, and the timestamps on photographs are taken by blank correspond to the time the juvenile females said they were on the trail and saw a male individual. And then that's all we get. So I want to hear your guys' thoughts, or rather see them. So let's see what we got. Let's see. Anna says, it's odd that he wouldn't pick the round up after he racked it out of the gun. Yes. Who's to even say that that was there? No offense, but... Okay, so 5.5 years. I mean, they had this all then. Okay, how about this? I'll start us off. If they can see his vehicle on that camera, right? But they're only saying that they're seeing it because of the witnesses that were driving by. But you're telling me that he's not seen on any camera walking all muddy and bloody? Would he be on some... yeah, would he be on like any of these cameras? All muddy and bloody? And I think he forgot he had a round chambered and re-racked to scare them. Yeah, whoever did it, yeah. I think that right now, what's linking this all up, guys, is the fact that you have you have an expert, an alleged expert, that's saying, yes, that came out of that gun. And I know what that's like because they try to do the same thing to Sheldon Jeter Jr. And it's just not, that's not, you're going to have another expert that's going to tell you that did not. I'm going to tell you right now how that's going to play. So you're going to have the defense having an expert, you're going to have the prosecution having an expert, and it's going to get, clashed out, basically. It's not going to be good enough. A bloody person would attract some attention 5 years ago, no? Oh, yeah, they had all this 5 years ago. That's what I'm trying to say, is that everything pretty much that they have in this probable cause, they had it back then. It's not enough. I hope there is more on the missing page. Yeah, page 8. It's interesting that they're redacting the person that dropped off the girls when it's just, she's openly said it herself, That's interesting redaction. Who's the person that's dressed in all black? I mean, black is, if someone's saying that you're dressed in all black, is hell of a difference between blue jeans and a windbreaker. This probable cause affidavit, again, it's all about Richard Allen leading them to this location and not actually performing the murders. And I think that's because maybe none of his DNA is anywhere. Where was he sitting on that bench, Because I don't recall seeing a bench over there.
It might not be on the trail. It might be on the trail down there.
Yeah, but that takes you completely away from the bridge, though. When he says that he sit back down, nothing on page 8. Nothing on page 8, just signatures. It's enough for an arrest, but I sure hope they have more for a trial because I don't think it's enough for a conviction. It seems like it's damning, but I've witnessed a trial where something very similar, and it was with Sheldon. It's just, you have this expert that's going to say, yeah, that's the gun, but yet there's no DNA from anybody. But this gun, in Sheldon's case, was, the murder weapon. But yet there was no DNA from somebody getting shot 7 times in the head of that person's DNA on the gun. Again, now, for everybody that thought there was cat hair, dog hair, do you guys think that this evidence is stronger or weaker than cat hair, dog hair? I think it's weaker. This is one person's opinion. Now, granted, is he admitting to being there? Yes. Same thing like Sheldon, though. Sheldon, that's where he was, Why would you come forward and say that you were there? It wasn't like some camera caught him or anything like that. And then he's just walking along 300 North, just bloody and muddy. And, but where's everybody else? I just led them there. And then once everybody else is there, then I just left,
Right.
I think this, so now I get to ponder because I haven't, literally me reading this to you guys right now. First of me reading it. I did a little skim through. But, yeah, 100% Wolfpack Jack. Absolutely. It would be more damning if they were killed via that pistol, 100%. So I'm going to round this one up. I'll be back, though, to really hit home on some points, but I would love to try to get an expert to come on and talk about, how strong or weak this is. Maybe our boy Mark Lopez, attorney for Indianapolis over there, will have something fancy to say. I always fancy his little 3-6 minute videos. Jen Madison wants to know if she can say something that is completely off topic. As long as it sheds great light upon myself, sure, why not? The first few pages cited by the judge says that he kidnapped and killed them, but then the affidavit doesn't mention that. I'd have to... Yeah. Well, this is, I guess, what, his lawyers were talking about. Oh, by the way, they put in, I knew they only had so many days to put in for a change of venue. That was put in. I think that they will get it. In my opinion, but...
And they're going for Fort Wayne.
Going for Fort Wayne?
They're pushing Fort Wayne, yeah. And they're so impressive, like the defense team and everything that they laid out. I'm really impressed with them.
Just a stroll in the park all muddy and bloodied, says Chicka Chicka. Nothing to see here. Yeah, I would just... Where's the camera? I was like, so the CPS building doesn't have a camera. But what caught him, okay, is he seen leaving that area in that vehicle? Then if he's all muddy and bloody, does he still own that Ford Focus? Like, could we get all up in that vehicle? I don't think he still owns it, though. I think making them go down the hill constitutes kidnapping, but not sure. I think the girl's saying, if you can totally make out that they're saying gun, that's interesting. But I don't know how clear that is. Somebody is praying for a Fort Wayne trial. How far is Fort Wayne from me?
I think it's actually closer to you. It's Allen County, which is on the east side of Indiana, which would make it closer, right?
The pages the old judge signed says he kidnapped and killed them. Well, if that's the case, that needs to come out, because that could possibly throw out everything that they recovered from his house. You do know that, right? If that is the case, oh, hell. It's about 3.5 hours from me. Thank you so much there, Thunder Before Lightning. You little stalker, you. Just kidding. That was funny. That made me laugh. A bit over an hour from Delphi. That's just not even far enough, I don't think, from Delphi, but whatever. They just need to move it to Ohio. Just kidding. Let's see. I think he saw the girl's camera and knew they had footage and knew he didn't know where that phone was when he left, so he turned himself in just in case they found it. Could be interesting. Can you imagine taking a hike on your own and boom, the next thing, a crime is pinned on you? We will see. But hey, we got something. At least we got something to work with. But I definitely gonna look into if there was something like that ever signed about kidnap and murder. Sanger, Texas. I fell playing basketball 2 weeks ago and scraped my finger. I'm still finding little blood drops, smears. How does a dude do this and not cover a vehicle interior with blood? You would, kind of like the O.J. Simpson case. That's why I was just like, how does the Bronco have no fucking blood in it? And he didn't have any time to clean it, So that's always been my hang up. Has R.A. said he was being framed? Well, I think that anybody that's going to try to say that Richard Allen wasn't cooperating with law enforcement, this probable cause proves that false. So that narrative can please stop. he actually spoke with them. And he knew what it pertained to right off the rip, where he could have been like, you know what, I want a lawyer. He spoke with them, answered their questions again. He was being cooperative. And then at a point of when you're being arrested, I think that it's normal to say, like, I want my lawyer. But even if he was to ask for a lawyer right when they would have come questioning him again about any of this, for him to say, I want a lawyer. Because you know that they're trying to pin this, and now 5.5 years later, you're getting talked to again, and no one's talked to you since 2017. No one even did a follow-up. No one followed up with him. How is that possible? And why are they leaving off who he talked to? Again, I could go on for hours and hours about that, but...
Doc Che wants to know the color of the...
the color of his Ford Focus. Well, I thought he had a white one, and they say black.
I thought it was white as well,
but the P2 Cruiser was purple. So,
yeah, so maybe not 100% that it was white, but
oh, look at that, Jen! I was amazed they played each other. Did you watch? It just
Jen
was.
just told us.
I know Jen's letting us know. It was part of the affidavit first, was the release from the new judge. The next 3 pages are the warrant signed by old judge and says that he kidnapped and killed victim 1, victim 2. Well, that's going to be interesting. Atlanta, what vehicle did they say is his? His is the Ford Focus, but I don't think he has that vehicle anymore.
the Ford Focus?
I don't think he has the Ford Focus anymore. I could be wrong, but I think that new family van replaced, it'd be interesting to know if that Ford Focus is still around. I know that he actually owned 2 different Ford Focuses at one time. So he drove 2 cars? No. The cops were saying that a Ford Focus resembles a PT Cruiser. Okay, guys? That's the part where I kind of chuckled. They were like, investigators say that. It basically, what it's going to show is that these witnesses, like anybody that's going to give like an eyewitness account of something, oh yeah, when I drove past it, there was like a vehicle. It was like parked, like it was trying to hide something. I mean, like what? I would never think that if somebody had their vehicle backed into a parking spot, I would never be like, oh, they're just trying to totally not get their license plate on camera. Just random, like during the day, like I just wouldn't think that. But it says right here, investigators believe those descriptions are similar in nature to a 2016 Ford Focus when describing a PT Cruiser, small SUV, or a smart car. That those are general descriptions of a 2016 Ford Focus in nature. I said, what are they talking about? But hey, that was just my chuckle of the day. And I think that's why it's taken 5.5 years to get to this point.
Oh my God.
When you have assumptions like that. So there is no talk about any trophies, by the way. I just like the fact that this can totally flush out just the crap that's going around. There was no tools. There was no neighbor. All that BS.
The tools, that's an amazing part too.
You
Said
was
that from the beginning.
Yeah, I said that from the beginning. There's no way that ever happened, and there's no way that you'd be like, yeah, let me come and get let me swab you, because you took a hammer. That wouldn't even. They wouldn't even go to like. The cops are like, yeah, Mr. Allen, can you give back your neighbor's hammer? What? No, I don't have her hammer. I think she's hammered is what the problem is here, officer.
And can we please get some DNA because you took a hammer?
Well, you guys, we don't know if these are eyewitness testimonies after 5 years. I believe everything that's here tells me that this is stuff that they had.
Yeah.
But this is like I said, circumstantial. I knew that everything that they had was circumstantial. I knew once he said flimsy, circumstantial. That's the key word, flimsy. You're not going to call DNA, you know what I mean, flimsy. You have a circumstantial case right now, and that's exactly what they have. And they don't even have him and they're basically already just letting us know, like, hey, he didn't do the murders, you know. But him getting them to go down the hill with the gun, then they ended up dying. You know what I'm saying? So why would he keep the gun? Exactly all these years later? Exactly. But think about that. That's the easiest thing to try to pin. You guys, this is just an expert, quote unquote expert. And there's going to be another one that says it's not the gun. Okay? So I think he's going to make bail.
You think he's going to make bail?
I think he's going to, absolutely, he's going to make bail.
Well, wasn't one of your other thoughts that it was for his safety? Because where are they going to put this guy if he makes, people want to kill him?
Well, I think after this is out there, I mean, come on. I mean, this is basically saying to me that he didn't kill them. And that he was what? That he just got them to a location and then literally pieced out.
I mean, how does that...
Well, we'll have lots to chat about this because I want everyone to digest what they have, and then we're going to come back with an open panel. I'm going to drop link. Drop link. Listen, I'm all about our rights, guys. I care about our rights. I care about things being done the right way. If whoever did this to Libby and Abby, they will, in my opinion, be held accountable. But we can't hold the wrong person accountable. And all you got to do is just do it the right way, and the right person will, in my opinion, be right persons, because I think it's multiple people, will be brought to justice. And I just, I think it's, why, okay, now, can we say this? Why would they want this sealed? Because it's that flimsy, because it's like, oh my, who are we protecting here? Who, these other, we have to seal it because of what? Because it's an ongoing investigation? Well, no, probably because now somebody's going to come forward and say, well, who are these three girls? Like, or now maybe people are able to come forward and, God knows what. Just, but let's see. I think he should make bail. I think he will make bail. Law enforcement not putting every bit of evidence in the PCA. They will include enough to get an arrest warrant issued. Keep in mind if other arrests are made. But guess what happens in Indiana, guys? In Indiana, when this whole bail hearing happens in February, it's like a mini trial. So they're going to have to bring the evidence. And it's like a double-edged sword in a kind of a way for the prosecution. But the defense is going to see what they got. That's what kind of happens with the bail hearing in Indiana. Chicka Head may have to get on panel. Absolutely, bring it. Let's just do everything the right way. And hey, if Richard Allen's the guy, then Richard Allen's the guy. And he should spend the rest of his life, obviously, behind bars. Or if they want to execute, I don't even know when Indiana's last executed somebody. So, this reads like an Indiana probable cause affidavit. That's what Sanger, Texas says. It's okay. Raspy voices are welcome. To those who don't think they have enough to arrest him, well, the judge disagreed with you. Absolutely. And the judge can disagree. But I think that if it was a different probable cause that they signed in order to arrest him, then that's not okay either. So we'll see what happens. But I believe that they had all of this. So 5.5 years later, they just thought, okay, October 13th, let's just do a follow-up with this, this Richard Allen guy. We were sitting on him for a while, but he hasn't done anything. Like, he just gets up, he goes to CVS, he goes home. He, has the most boringest life. So we've been watching him to see if we can connect him to other people and stuff like that, which makes sense, But we can't, because we've sat back here and we've waited and what should we do? What should we do? That's kind of the thought process I have with them talking it out. We've watched this guy like a hawk. And he, so much as him and his wife do weird shit. They just, kick it with themselves. They play pool. They like to hike. They like to go on trips, but there's not, when they went to his house, they didn't find any kiddie porn. They didn't find any trophies. So yeah, but we'll talk about it. Again, want to hear what you guys think, and get your voices ready, because I'm gonna drop the link. So, all right, enjoy the rest of your afternoon. This will happen a little bit later, and I'll try to give some notice. But yeah, thanks for all being here, and you guys are awesome. And let's see that justice happens for Libby and Abby, and that this family, all these families involved, I mean, every day is living a nightmare for them. So prayers for them, and for the sake of these girls, I want their killer caught. So again, thank you guys. You guys are awesome. And look forward to hearing from all of you guys a little bit later. Until then.
Today is not a day to celebrate, but the arrest of Richard M. Allen of Delphi on 2 counts of murder is sure a major step in leading to the conclusion of this long-term and complex investigation. Of this long-term and complex investigation. Of this long-term and complex investigation. Of this long-term and complex investigation.